Yeah, what's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to my YouTube channel. And the reason and the purpose why I do this YouTube channel is to uplift people. Maybe I'll give you a little bit of insight. Maybe I'll give you a little bit of wisdom from all the things that I've experienced in my life. Maybe I'll give you a little bit of encouragement. I feel like my mission down here on earth is to impact as many lives as I possibly can. So if by watching this YouTube video, if it impact your life, I feel like I've done my job. But what I want to talk about today is dealing with adversity. One thing I realized, going throughout this spiritual walk that I've been on for a long time, there's no way of you getting around dealing with hard times, dealing with adversity, dealing with trials, and dealing with tribulations. That's a normal part of life. You might have some things that you're fearful of. You're gonna have to face those fears head on. There's no way of you getting around adversity, hard times, challenges, and setbacks. Because what does it do to you when you go through hard times? It allows you to build up perseverance. It teaches you how to go through hard times, difficult times. You become stronger, you become wiser, you become more resilient. You develop thick skin. When you go through hard times, sometimes hard times, it tests your emotional stability, your emotional intelligence, your self-control. Sometimes when you're exposed to negative energy, somebody might criticize you. Somebody might throw you up under the bus. Somebody might say something to you out of their mouth sideways. You just being tested with that dark negative energy to see how you're gonna react to it. To see if you're gonna lose your composure or you're gonna maintain your composure. Hard times build up resilience and mental fortitude. It makes us stronger. God is preparing us also for a relationship that we're gonna be in at an appointed time. We all desire to be with a beautiful young woman, or if you desire to be with a handsome man, or if you're in a homosexual relationship. We all desire to have love in our life. And the Holy Spirit is preparing you to be in that relationship by taking you through all this adversity, all these challenges, temptations, testing your character. The Holy Spirit is purifying you, trying to see if you're a man or woman of integrity by all these trials and temptations. You're going through all this adversity to see if you're going to still keep moving, or you're going to be able to persevere through the worst of times. Or you just gonna fall by the wayside and just give up, throw in a towel. Some people literally take themselves up out of here. I know you heard the stories of people committing suicide because they couldn't cope with what was going on in their life. They couldn't deal with all the circumstances and the situations and the events that was going on in their life. So they took themselves up out of here. That's why you gotta have thick skin. The Holy Spirit is gonna constantly test you all the time to see what you made of, to see how thick your skin is, to see if you can deal with difficult times and still keep moving, still keep standing on business. No matter what's going on in your life, you still standing tall, you still doing the things that you do on a regular basis. You're not just sitting in the house moping around. You still doing what you love to do, hanging out with friends, going out to restaurants, grocery shopping. You still having fun no matter what's going on in your life. All hell that literally broke loose in your life. Everything that could go wrong has gone wrong in your life. And you run into yourself, has God forgotten about me? Has God abandoned me through these terrible times, through these hard times? No, he hasn't. You just got to hold fast. You got to hold your head up high. You got to keep going. You being battle tested. God is taking you through the fire because he's trying to fine tune you. He's preparing you for that relationship, for that beautiful woman or that handsome man. If you're a homosexual, for that man-on-man relationship or that woman-on-woman relationship. God is preparing you. He's taking you through the fire, purifying you and purging you of all those vices that you have. Now, granted, you're not going to be perfect, but we striving towards a mark of a higher calling. So adversity probably could be the best thing that ever happened to you because it made you a stronger person. That adversity that you was facing years ago, when you met that woman that God ordained for you to be with, when you and that woman started having arguments, you didn't try to choke that woman out. You wasn't yelling at the top of your lungs. You didn't get violent with that woman because you've been getting tested repeatedly throughout your journey. The Holy Spirit been testing your self-control, your emotional intelligence. You didn't just fall by the wayside and wanted to run from the relationship when things got a little bit out of control. You hung in there because you've been battle tested. You didn't give up on a relationship because you've been getting battle tested to see if you're going to see it all the way through. Adversity makes us stronger. It makes us wiser. It makes us soldiers in the army of the Lord. All right, y'all. Don't look at adversity as punishment. Look at adversity as preparation. God is fine-tuning you. God is molding you. God is purging you. God is purifying you. And he's getting you ready to when you had that date with destiny. God planned for us to live in greatness. He didn't plan for us to live a mediocre, to live a meager existence. God planned for us to step into greatness. That's what our destiny is, to step into greatness, for us to expand, for us to do some major things on planet Earth. That's what God planned our life out to be, to do some amazing things, to be kings and queens walking the earth. Not no peasants and slaves. God ordained us to be prophets, royal kings and royal priests, and we need to step into those roles fully. He ordained for us to step into those roles as trailblazers and pioneers, as people who went through adversity and came out on the other end unscathed, still standing, shining like a diamond. All right, y'all, keep your energy right and your life will be right. One love, one mind, one God, one accord. Peace.